welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven, and today I'm going to be finally talking about the fifth installment in the Scream franchise, simply known as Scream, which was released this year on January 14th of 2022. And needless to say, this movie follows the trend of the fourth film, which, takes like 10 years later, to make another one. But of course, as we all know and established in the last review I have done, that this is going to be the first one that was not directed by Wes Craven, as he sadly passed away in 2015. Now, as a sequel that, decides not to even bother acknowledging it's the fifth one, where do we begin? Ghostface has returned to Woodsboro to wreak havoc on a new generation of kids and teens, and, pretty much has a new scheme up his sleeve. And of course, as we all know, the legacy characters of Gail, Dewey, and Sydney find their way back to Woodsboro, well, except for Dewey, since he lives there now. And of course, unraveling the mystery as to why Ghostface has surfaced again after 10 years, and what to expect with this one. So, going into this, of course, as you guys know, I've just pretty much reviewed all four of the other Scream films, ranging from the first one being really great to the fourth one, which was, kind of a disappointment to me. So, going into this one, it was pretty much something I wanted to establish that, if I have to go watch all these Screams and then go watch the fifth one, I might as well go do that. So, I sat down and watched all of them in retrospect, then went to go see the movie to give you my thoughts. Now, of course, this review, is like how many weeks later after the movie came out. So, a lot of times have passed where this was one of those movies where I had to really think of, what do I think of this movie? So, finally, it came down to what I actually thought of this movie. For the story itself, I do absolutely love the fact that this story does take place 10 years later, and they do, in fact, reference that horror movies have become more, let's say, geared towards a certain type of demographic that a lot of people tend to enjoy a lot more, and slashers are just kind of out the door. In fact, the beginning of the movie, they do acknowledge that very heavily, even when Ghostface saying, yeah, those are kind of boring, Let's talk about slasher films. Now, as we all know, the Stab franchise is established in this movie as well, to the point where it has gone all the way to like Stab 8, and the series has kind of just, just gone to shit. So, of course, with the franchise being that way, and then, of course, Ghostface summoning up, it does question these characters, the new batch of characters, as to who the killer could be, since half of them know the Stab movies, half of them know the rules, and there are a few callbacks to the original film quite heavily in this movie. It almost resembles to Halloween 2018. The kills are absolutely top-notch with this movie. In regards to the last two that we saw, this one ups the ante and actually delivers better kills in this movie. Now, I know there was a lot of speculation when it came to a trailer of a certain mask. Well, for those who saw this movie, you were probably very disappointed as to why that was a letdown. But of course, it kind of tells the story in itself. And with all the kills that we do see in this movie, like there are some boundaries that have broken in this movie. At one point, Ghostface does kill someone in the daytime, like in the middle of a house, like in the middle of the street, right in front of a house, and it's weird because it is the daytime. I know the last time we did see someone get killed in the daytime was Randy in the Scream 2, but this one, it's very heavy with it. Like, this Ghostface is a lot more brutal than the previous ones when in regards to his kills, and that is a very well needed kick in the gut when it comes to this franchise, especially when, it was ridiculed quite heavily at the fact that it's just a movie with a bunch of stabbing. So, I do enjoy the kills very well in this movie. As for the new characters of this movie, I do actually like the casting choices for this, the acting as well. There is maybe only two characters in this movie that I kind of just couldn't stand. In fact, one of the characters in this fucking movie, after looking at them, I even said, that's the killer. And I couldn't fucking believe it at the end of the movie. It's revealed, and I'm like, you're kidding. That's the killer. Holy shit, I called my shit. But of course, with this movie, there were some high expectations for me. One being, is any of the legacy characters going to get killed off? Well, it's been 2 weeks, and yes, one of them does get killed off. Which, thank you, Scream 5. You did something that I really wanted to do, but also at the same time, you pissed me off doing it because I wanted it to be a certain character, and then you gave me that, which pissed me off, but at the same time, it added so much weight to the movie itself, and now it shows that the legacy characters are now expendable. They can die now. So I do appreciate you guys for doing that, but still, fuck you. Like, you didn't have to do us that dirty. Of course, what about the big reveal? What did I think about the big reveal? Well, like I said, I already called my shot when I said it was that character, and I was thoroughly disappointed in that. But then there was another character that's actually, the possibility of being a killer. I did fear that this movie was going to have two killers, and, spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie, I'm just going to say this now, there are two killers in this movie. So, of course, Scream 3 is the only one that has had one fucking killer. But I would like to say that there was 3 killers in this movie because there is a big plot hole in this movie which revolves around a character and their height. And I'm saying this now, I don't buy it. I do not fucking buy it whatsoever. Now, as for their motive, after going online, a lot of people have trashed the motive, have even said that it's dog shit. Now, actually looking at how the motive is and going on social media, going on so many horror fan comments on certain movies, you do see what they are talking about with it. And I have to honestly say, it gives grandiose as to why that is a thing. Now, in their execution, their grand scheme plan is where it drops the ball. Now, that's not always a bad thing. It's not the greatest, but Scream 4 still takes the cake in being the lamest reason. For my ranking of this movie, I was very hesitant on it. Like, there were some things I didn't really quite like, but then after rewatching it and, seeing what people had to say online and, the people who did love this movie, I was like, yeah, I actually agree with you on that one. And for some of the people who didn't like this movie, I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with you as well. But for me, when it comes to Scream 5, I did enjoy the movie. It was a nice welcome to the Scream franchise again. I can live without certain things happening in this movie, but for my ranking actually of this movie, I am going to give Scream 5 a 6.5 out of 10. That's obviously better than what Scream 4 and Scream 3 were like, obviously. I would have to give this another watch again to pretty much deal with that, because 6.5 is where I'm at now. I have to watch it again, and then, pretty much maybe this movie does have the potential of actually changing my ranking in the franchise as well, and also changing my rating, because there are a lot of good points in this movie, and not too much bad. But, of course, when it comes to that, it's like, it's kind of 60-40, so 6.5. So, yeah, I'm going to have to just say Scream 5 gets a 6.5 out of 10. But enough about what I had to say. What did you guys have to think of this movie? Did you also enjoy it as much as a lot of people out there did? Did you think it did not hold up to expectations? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and also subscribe for more content. Other than that, guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven, and I will talk to you guys later.